We are going to head over to Bolivia, and Amparo is here with us. Fantastic. Don't we love it when technology works out? So we will be hearing from Bolivia directly, as you can see on the screen, and you will later see on the larger one above, about how a challenge can become an opportunity for positive change. We will hear about vocational training, a project that they have been implementing there. And if you would like to ask a question, do not hesitate to submit it via Slido. As a reminder, you can just go on Slido and use the hashtag ICForum to find a place to submit your questions. If you need translation, a part of this will be in Spanish. Do grab your headsets. Mrs. Amparo, welcome. The word is yours.
Thank you. I am Amparo Ergueta. I am a National Program Officer at SDC. I am in Santa Cruz, Bolivia, and I am so excited to present the experience of our center, ENSEC. Well, the Vocational Education and Training Project was supporting this center since 2018, and with the assistance of Swiss Contact and Pautapo. We will show you how, with our support, this center continue education and modernize the courses. This is one of 72 centers that are being supported by Switzerland. Let's see the whole experience in this short video.
In Bolivia, Swiss Development Cooperation is strengthening 72 state-run technical training centers. The centers were closed in March 2020 because of COVID-19. To keep the training going, the project implemented some innovative measures. The teachers were committed to learning how to use digital platforms, and the students were flexible. The centers were adapted, classrooms were equipped, and contents for remote training courses were developed. Virtual simulators were installed for practical training. And internet connections were set up for all low-income students so that they could attend classes on their mobile phones. Distance was no object.
We need the cooperation, the strategic alliance between the public sector and support from the international cooperations in order to strengthen training in the technical and technological institutes.
This meant that 10,000 students could keep on studying and improve their chances of finding a job. Digital skills training is now an integral part of technical training. The students at the technical training centers now have a better grasp of technology and will be able to use it when they go out to work. Technical training works.
Ahora me encuentro dentro de una de las clases. Me encuentro con la directora académica de ENSEC y ella nos va a contar cómo ha sido la adaptación.
We are now with the director of this institution you heard about in the film and in very many other institutions that we support as well, where all this change has taken place, allowing also for virtual classes. Thank you and welcome to ENSEC, our institution. Within the scope of the pandemic, we had to stop, we were forced to stop giving actual classes, and we had to develop new methods. And thanks to the cooperation with very many supporters and partners, this became possible, and we were able to offer free online classes. Several digital platforms were made available to us free of charge, and we also were able to develop our own platforms. And we realized how important it is to train with regard to using such digital platforms and also to adapt learning materials. We were supported by Swiss Development Corporation so that everyone also had access to laptops in order to partake in this project. Everything was carried out very interactively. We had what we like to refer to as a laboratory. We also had our own server installed. It was very important to us to have our own platform with our very own server. All of this contributed to classes being able to continue with no interruption of the courses so that further education could be ensured. Great. That was one of the experiences that the director just told us about. Now we'd like to speak with one of the teachers who is responsible for, amongst other, for classes on corporate management. How did you adapt to using the new technological possibilities? Thank you for giving me this opportunity. My name is Escarlén Moyano May, and I'm a professor for business administration at ENSEC. It was very important for us all to be able to test and try these new teaching methods. We came together and we had to ensure further online classes during the pandemic because it was impossible for the students to attend actual physical classes and lectures. And as you know, the pandemic also led to several different kinds of social issues and problems. But thanks to the competencies we were able to acquire, our students were able to continue their education and to actually finalize their courses and then also find gainful employment. Thank you very much. It's important to know, to hear about all of the challenges, but also to know about the challenges that the young people and students had to face. We know that it's very costly to have internet access in Bolivia and that connections aren't always stable. So let's speak with a young person who was impacted by all of these challenges. It's a young lady who did a class in bookkeeping during the pandemic and actually also finished this course. Thank you very much. Very many colleagues and friends of mine interrupted their education because they didn't have laptops, they didn't have internet connection, they didn't have Wi-Fi. But some of us were lucky. We had our parents who helped us to continue our education. We also found support elsewhere. We were given access to different computers, for instance, and during the pandemic, what was very, very important was to adopt a very solidaric behavior and to help one another and to support one another mutually. I would never have been able to finish my accountancy class without a computer and without internet access, but this was possible thanks to a lot of support, which I'm very grateful for. Right. What about the young gentleman? This young gentleman next to me was also impacted by all of these challenges during the pandemic, and now we'd like to hear from him. He also wanted to be able to finish his course. What was your experience like? Which situation did you find yourself in? Thank you. Well, I'd say that the biggest obstacle to tackle, the biggest difficulty for me was that within the scope of this project, we lacked the materials we needed. We had no access to the different platforms. So it was very hard to acquire the knowledge we wanted to acquire. And, well, I'm speaking here about a period of 2 years during which there were no actual classes. During this period, I stayed at home, but I was supported, I was helped, and this made it possible for me to attend classes remotely on digital platforms. And what about practical training then? Actually, I did a form of internship as well. And I was able to acquire very hands-on, practical knowledge. I'd like to hand back to Switzerland. I think Nora just received a Slido question, so we'll try and respond. Nora. Yes, thank you very much. What an interesting project, this Bolivian project. It was great to have heard from educators, but also from students. But we did just receive a Slido question, namely, what were the key factors for success, for the success of the Bolivian vocational education project? And what about the employability of graduates? Let's ask the director of the institution whether she'd like to respond with regard to the use of these new technologies. Thank you. I do believe that the decisive elements for success were that everyone involved was committed, everyone contributed. The authorities, administration, the students, all teachers and educators. This made it possible to not suffer major interruptions to the classes and courses, but we, primarily the educators, had to learn to use new tools, new platforms, new methods in order to continue to educate. And the support that we received was a great, great help to us all here at my institution and also elsewhere. So, also the materials and infrastructure provided to us were tremendously helpful. Infrastructure in Bolivia was improved upon. We received computers, tablets. That was all tremendously helpful to us. And I can say that all third-year students in their graduate year also did internships and acquired a lot of practical and hands-on knowledge. And basically, our institution is highly recognized amongst others also for this, and this translates into higher employability and better opportunities on the labor market. And we also have a lot of businesses and companies who come and visit us and our students at our institution, which is a door opener for them. Thank you very much. We've received so very many questions. I doubt that we'll be able to answer them all, but allow me to ask this question. Very many countries have made huge progress in terms of digitalization. So this is a question for the educator, for the professor here next to me. What will things look like now in the period post-pandemic? Right. Thank you very much. It's a massive challenge, in my opinion, to familiarize yourself with all of these new methods and methodologies. But I do believe that these newly acquired competencies and skills will continue to remain very helpful for us as teachers, educators, professors, for all of the work to follow. I think it was a tremendous step in the right direction. Thank you very much. That was only a tiny example of all of the work undertaken here in Bolivia on site within the scope of this program. Thank you so very much. We're really, really proud to be part of today's forum. Thank you very much, and bye-bye. Thank you so much to our entire team in Bolivia. Thank you so very much for your inspiration here today.
Yes. So let's move.